selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. Now I never been down with no OPP. I talk about selling our people's property. Don't know who doing it, so don't round me out. Don't send no police round me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. Hey, hey. Ride him. My mother always say, where you find a donkey? Ride it. Who's donkey? What? Come on. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand, but I can fix this. I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country. Ooh, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. I get everybody sells some every time. They're selling one island, give away one key. What can be left for you and me? Is this the example? What's our kids to do? You want them have a sense of pride, or go selling too? Cause they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes man. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes, yes. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha.
Whoa, girls, we out doing it.
My name is Kirk Cornish. I am running in the constituency of North Abaco. I intend to serve my people of North Abaco because I am personally involved in the struggles and the need of North Abaco. I am present on the ground. I know the suffering. I know the neglect. I know the needs personally. I think it's key, based on my experience in North Abaco, that every politician should want to have a relationship with the people they're serving. You, as a member of parliament, should not be a stranger to your constituents and their needs. My life of service has brought me to this place in my life where I am now being called to serve my community on a higher level. I am honored. I consider myself privileged. And with the submission and surrendering to God, I pray and hope that I will serve them, that they can be proud of me. And I thank everyone who was involved in all of it.
That same week that I made the report, my ex-boyfriend, he came by the house, he talked for a moment, and then he forced me into my room. And at that point, I asked him, what is it that he's doing? I said to him, stop, and he didn't stop.
What was he doing?
He ripped off my jeans, and he ripped off my underwear, and he forced himself on me, even though I said to him, stop. And he just keeps saying, this is what you want, the monster.
Have they even talked to him to find out if he's going to admit to this stuff or anything? They just try to tell you, oh man, you're not going to come with this, you just leave it alone and whatever. That's how the Royal Bahamas Police Force operating now.
What I think, my thought is that you put you on the plane, you come to Nassau, you set up in Parliament.
There is a complaint with the police in relation to some very serious allegations. I'm certain that the police will investigate aggressively, and we believe in the rule of law, and we are confident that due process will prevail and the police will do their jobs.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and thank you for joining us. It is always a pleasure to be with you. We are broadcasting live all over the world. It is April 18th, 2023. April 18th, 2023. In the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, it is a Tuesday, and we thank you for joining us wherever you are joining us from. Today is my mother's birthday. She is passed on. And so she is celebrating her birthday in heaven. Her name is Willamette Poitier. Willamette Poitier was very near and dear to me, and she died in 2014, making me an orphan. I've lost my father and my mother, but they left me to carry on their legacy, and this is one of the reasons that I fight. And for all of those who loved Willamette Poitier, you know that she was a great woman, and her legacy will always go on. We will never forget her. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very serious day. This is a very serious day in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas because the problems persist. Nothing changes, and we keep going in the same cycle over and over. We're going to have a serious talk today. We must have this serious talk. You know what to do when you get on here. Please share. Of course, the media doesn't want to have real conversations about this thing, or anything for that matter, that really affects the people in this country. They only can talk about what they're instructed to talk about now. We are getting closer and closer to a demonic dictatorship, and we must fight this. But we're going to have a talk. We're going to talk the truth about Kirk Cornish and what it really means. What do I really mean by that? All right. What does it really mean by that? Someone says you still have Fred as a stepmother. Fred Mitchell could never be in my family. Never. Not even close. All right. Fred, let me leave that alone. let me leave Fred alone for one day. All right. Let me leave that alone for one day. All right. I always tell you all we have to respect our elders, and Fred is old enough to be my mother, and so we have to respect our elders. Okay. We're going to talk about Fred and the PLP today. And the reason we're going to talk about Fred and the PLP today is because Kirk Cornish is not a young man from Abaco. Kirk Cornish is not a young man who is accused of some acts against a young lady. Kirk Cornish represents the PLP and all that the PLP is, has been, and ever will be. It is endemic of what the PLP stands for. That is what Kirk Cornish is, and that is what the truth is about Kirk Cornish. Kirk Cornish does not stand alone. There is a criminal organization called the Progressive Liberal Party, and he represents everything that the Progressive Liberal Party stands for. And this is what we're going to talk about on this day. This is what we're going to talk about. The truth about Kirk Cornish. All right? And so we're going to have a real conversation. I hope you can handle it. The phone line's going to be open right away so you can weigh in and say what you have to say. What experiences have you had with this criminal organization? Whatever you want to talk about. How do you feel about the fact that the police have still not arrested or talked to Kirk Cornish in this matter, and because of allegations that are now being put out there in the public domain against him? He's a public figure, so we have the right to talk about him. They should not leave us in the dark on this kind of stuff, and they should not be petty about people talking about them. I have political trolls waking up every day talking about me. I don't chastise them. I don't tell them to don't talk about me. They can talk as much as they want. And mostly what they talk about is, well, not mostly, they never talk the truth. I could give them some truth to talk about me, but they never talk the truth. But I'm a public figure, and I chose to be a public figure, so I have to put myself out there to be scrutinized. And so I don't have a thin skin like some of these politicians who don't want you to talk about them or say anything about them. This is the way it should be, and this is the way our politicians should be. We should be questioned and scrutinized by the Bahamian public. And so I have some particularly PLP trolls. I mean, they wake up every single morning with me on their mind, and they all they want to do is talk about me every day, all the time. They're obsessed with me, almost to the point where you think that they would kidnap me and put me in a basement somewhere and just stare at me all day, because they are obsessed with me. They don't talk about anything else. They don't talk about the good or bad that their party is doing. They don't talk about the Free National Movement, the opposition. They just talk about me, or they wake up with Lincoln Bain on their mind. And I can't stop them because I represent the Bahamian people. And hopefully with Lincoln Bain on their mind, they can have the Bahamian people on their mind, because that is who I am. I represent the Bahamian people. And hopefully talking about me can cause them to think about the wrong that they've been doing to the Bahamian people, the way they have lied to us, the way they have robbed us, literally, and raped us, literally, in this country. And so we hope they're not too thin-skinned. But we have to have a conversation today about what all this represents. I'll start here. Bahamas is pound for pound the most rapinest country in this hemisphere, definitely one of the most rapinest countries in the world. I know rapinest isn't a word, but that's why I want to say it. All right. This country has a culture. This country, to me, is also, in all the countries that I've been in, I've done business around the world. I've lived in many countries around the world. And to me, the Bahamas is the most corrupt country that I've experienced. I lived in Haiti for 2 years. I was back and forth. and really I was there, going there for more than that. But to me, in my experience, the Bahamas is the most corrupt country in the world. I've never experienced anything like this, like I experienced in the Bahamas. The corruption is right there in your face, and it's because the people are so placid, so passive, that they allow anything to happen. And so that is why it continues. The Progressive Liberal Party is a criminal organization. And I say that because every time they come to power, you see the corruption. Right now, all over social media, thank God for social media, because the government has bought out the mainstream media. All over social media, you can hear the PLP trolls admitting to crimes, admitting to malfeasance by persons at Ministry of Work, admitting to going around and shopping for contracts and just getting contracts without going through the procurement process, after the government admitted that it was breaking the law with reference to the procurement process, and said that they are just going to change the law because it doesn't allow them to give contracts when they want to. They are acting like a criminal organization. Every time they come to power, there's no transparency. Excuse me, and there's corruption galore. And so we need serious change. It's like, as long as you're a Progressive Liberal Party member of Parliament, the law doesn't go for you. This is now the second sitting member of Parliament against whom there has been a police complaint. The second, this is historic. This is the second sitting member of Parliament in the government against whom a police complaint has been made. This is historic. This has never happened before in the history. In the history of our nation. I've not even heard this happening in other nations. We had Jobert Colby, who accusations was made against by a police officer, not just to a police officer, by a police officer. Allegations were made. The government came out and said there was no investigation going on. The commissioner said it is being investigated. And they were going back and forth with different lies about whether it was being investigated, whether it wasn't being investigated. And then the commissioner says being investigated, and they came back and said they didn't get enough evidence. In the most corrupt country in the history of the world. Okay. And now you see Kirk Cornish, and what's going on with him. This is after the FTX scandal, where the Prime Minister, Attorney General, and others have been named in court documents. Now there's this confusion, and there is this WhatsApp lawyer, and the only way a lawyer becomes a political troll is if they really don't have a business and they're not a real lawyer. And then there's this acolyte or plaything of Fred Mitchell. His name is Ben McKinney, and he's Fred Mitchell's boy, and he is doing what do you call it? Trolling. He's supposed to be a lawyer. He's doing trolling for the PLP and Fred Mitchell. No serious lawyer would ever do that. But he can't get a real job, and so that's what he is doing. He goes on social media and spreads lies for a living. And so Ben McKinney his job is to try to misdirect persons and use his nice accent and be well-spoken, and hope that because people just don't know the law and they don't know, that they'll believe anything he says, because he speaks with all of his intonations. He speaks very fluently. and that you should just believe him because he knows how to speak like that, when he is talking the most utter nonsense that is absolutely unbelievable. Okay? Now, they try to confuse people about who is a creditor. I'm going to get to Kirk Cornish in a minute. Just let me get here. They try to confuse people about what a creditor is, because the government was named, well, the prime minister and others was named on his creditors list, and so they're trying to confuse you. There are several types of persons. There are investors, who are persons who would have invested in FTX, and that's to make profits, to be a beneficial owner. So those are investors. And then there are two types of creditors. One type of creditor is a creditor, someone who is owed money by FTX. So, for example, it could be a restaurant that gave them credit and gave them food, etc. It could be Bahamas Power and Light. That's one type of creditor. But also, technically, there's another type of creditor, and that's those who makes deposits. All right. And so if you deposited money into FTX and they're holding it for you, you are also a depositor, but you are a creditor of FTX because they owe you that money that they're holding. All right. And so don't let political trolls like Ben McKinney and them fool you. We need to know, and the reason we need to know this is because there's no Freedom of Information Act. We're heading into 2 years. There's no Freedom of Information Act. Well, there's an act, but you know what we mean when we say that. There's no freedom of information in this country. And so we need to know, does FTX owe the Attorney General money? Does the FTX owe the Ministry of Finance money? And these other public companies, governmental agencies, are they owed money by FTX, or did they invest our money in FTX? Is that why it was so important for him to go and run and grab the monies initially of the FTX and to make him hack into the system and grab some digital assets? We need to know this, okay? And the fact that they're hiding this speaks volumes. And so we need to know, if they are owed money, what are they owed money for? Because they sent a troll on social media, Ben. They sent a troll on social media to speak, to confuse people about what a creditor is and what a depositor is, etc. But they didn't say, okay, FTX owes the Bahamian government money for this, that, and the next thing. Why is that such a secret? Well, we need Ben, when he is free from being the lapdog of Fred Mitchell, we need you, said you're the spokesperson for the lies of the PLP on social media. Can you please explain to us why they were named as creditors, what money is owed? We don't really want an answer from you. But since you're out there lying to the Bahamian public, we just wanted to address that from to you, okay? So as simple as that. All right. So, all right. So whoever owes money to FTX, whoever FTX owes money to, one, either because you did a service for them, or they owe you money for taxes, etc., or anyone who gave money, deposit money in there, they are also owed money by FTX, okay? So both of those things. And so we need to know exactly the truth. Don't waste time answering me about what is a creditor, what is a deposit, and all this kind of stuff. We don't need to waste time with that. We need to know the government's relations and association to FTX. I said it because the whole FTX crew was in town again today. They actually came in on a cruise ship. So it was awesome having them back in the Bahamas today. The whole crew was down here again today. And so we just wanted to welcome them to the Bahamas. They're gone now. They left this afternoon. But we need to know that from our government. All right? So remember, there are 1 million creditors, over 1 million creditors, and many of them are the depositors who deposited money in there, and those depositors are owed monies by FTX. Don't let the PLP get in your head. All right? So let's move on from there. The PLP has become a criminal organization. Now you have two sitting members of parliament. What happened in both instances? First, you saw lies by the government and back and forth with the government and police. And now you see the Kirk Cornish situation. But the Kirk Cornish situation is not a situation that is unique to the PLP. This is not the first time something like this has happened. This seems to be endemic in the PLP, extremely endemic in the PLP. And the reason I say that is because if you know your history, you will remember that there was a gentleman who was the chairman of the PLP and who was Minister of Works. And while he was the Minister of Works, while he was the Minister of Works, I'm going to show you something in a minute. While he was the Minister of Works, one sec. Now I'm going to go straight to U.S. report so y'all can see this. Because sometimes it's better to get it from the U.S. than to get it here in the Bahamas. While he was the Minister of Works, Bradley Roberts was accused of rape. The Minister of Works, Bradley Roberts, was accused of raping a woman. And guess what? Just like with the Kirk Cornish matter, we saw time pass and nothing. Nothing. No question. They didn't question Bradley. There seemed to be intimidation. The woman felt like she was being intimidated. She didn't know why. She didn't know what's going on. Why can't you just, if I've come forward, I've done what you've told me to do, I've spoken out, why can't someone just question this man and find out why he did this thing to me? Why was he so cruel and violent in doing this thing to me? And no one seemed to have the will to even question the gentleman. No one seemed to have the will. And this is the MO of the Progressive Liberal Party. And this continues to happen under the Progressive Liberal Party. It's not the first time, and it will not be the last. I'm willing to start taking bets on here today that nothing is going to happen to Kirk Cornish. If I was a betting man, this would be a sure bet for me. That because of the government who is in power, absolutely nothing is going to happen to Kirk Cornish. Eventually, after people keep talking about it, eventually they're going to do some kind of protest. They're going to do some type of questioning where they say, okay, well, we got to at least question him. Let's just question him and then say we didn't see nothing. Because these people, if they keep talking, it's going to look bad, man. And so we need to at least let's just question him. So we could say, well, we brought him in and no one is above the law. How about that? And so I think that is what's going to happen. And outside of that, nothing else is going to happen. Nothing. So how do you feel? The line is open, 803-5995. I'm going to show some stuff. I'm going to talk about stuff today. And while I'm talking about this, you can call in at any time, 803-5995. And you can weigh in at the same time while I'm showing you all this stuff. All right? Where's this? Okay. And you can weigh in while I'm showing you all of this. All right? So I wanted to show you Bradley Roberts. I'm just trying to upload a video for you guys so that you can actually see this. Um, yeah, we're just trying to upload a video so you can get more out of this. Okay, no, we'll do. Yeah. Yeah, I want to upload a video because I want you to really see the mindset. I want you to see the mindset of the people that y'all are dealing with. Um, because I think it's the only way that you're gonna really understand what's really going on. Because um, this isn't the first time this has happened, and based on what we are seeing from the government already, this isn't going to be the last time, and it's going to continue. And Bahamas is going to continue to be abused like this by persons who are in power. Okay. All right, so that's up and running. So I'm going to do a screen share. I just want to show you something quickly. So, okay, cancel. So let's talk about what happened with the Bradley Roberts situation for a second. And I'm going to go to the Orlando newspapers, the Orlando, I think it is, because it did make international news, which was very embarrassing to the Bahamas. So instead of going to Tribune or Guardian or one of those, I'm going to go straight to Atlanta Sentinel. This is what you're looking at right there. Police probe alleged rape by Bahamas federal officials. I don't know why they call it federal. All right. The Nassau Bahamas police are investigating allegations that a government minister raped a woman. Police said Wednesday. They questioned Minister of Works Utilities Bradley Roberts on Tuesday, but did not charge him. A 47-year-old woman has accused Roberts of raping her in her Nassau home December 4th. Her lawyer, Wallace Roll, has said Roberts, 61, denied the allegations. And so this is when they originally finally got to questioning him after some time and after some embarrassment, and it actually made international news. And so they questioned him at that point because it really started to look bad. But then what started to happen was after this, you would see here that, sorry, go back. This was December 2004. He was finally questioned, right? And then when you go back in January, you'll see what they started to report. In a shocking twist, the woman who claimed she was raped by MP Bradley Roberts was forced to endure a face-to-face encounter with the alleged sex beast. The Bahamas government, Bahamas police, and Mr. Roberts' attorneys, in an apparent bid to intimidate the woman into dismissing the charges, forced her to undergo the scary ordeal. You see that? She said they forced her to have a face-to-face encounter with the alleged sex beast. So they made her sit down with this man, and that intimidated her to make her feel like, wow, this man is powerful. I told them this man raped me, and they brought me to sit in front of this man and to be interrogated. And it intimidated the woman. They were trying, they said that they feel that the police, Mr. Roberts, his attorneys, and the Bahamas government was intimidating her to drop the charges. All right? And they said that Sandra Dean Patterson, head of the Women's Crisis Center, was said to be very upset when she learned of the unusual meeting. It was reportedly the first time that a woman has been forced to suffer the indignity of having to undergo the traumatic experience of having to face her alleged rapist. The brave 47-year-old woman confronted Minister Roberts in an enraged meeting at the Central Detective Unit, Thompson Boulevard, on Friday at 1 p.m. Mr. Roberts arrived in his chauffeur-driven, blue-plated minister's car. Also at the meeting were drug lawyer and PLP MP Philip Brave Davis. and Prince Bonamy. So they reported that also at the meeting were drug lawyer and PLP MP Philip Brave Davis. And remember what they said earlier? They feel like the lawyers there for Bradley Roberts was trying to, that's just how she felt, to intimidate her to drop the charges. But look who the lawyer was. And Prince Bonamy, the lawyers for Roberts. Wallace Rose and Wayne Monroe, the lawyers for the woman. Oh, Wayne Monroe's on the other side. Remember back in the day? He was a DNA, he wasn't a PLP back then. The lawyers for the woman, female police inspector Hamilton, who interviewed the victim after the alleged rape at her house in Marathon, Assistant Commissioner of Police Reginald Ferguson, officer in charge of crime, and Chief Superintendent Marvin Dames, head of CDU. The woman has held the ground and refused to drop the charges despite highly unusual, extremely intimidating tactics being used by the police and Mr. Roberts' attorneys. Oh, wow. Police have reportedly recommended that Attorney General Alfred says charge Mr. Roberts with rape. Well, they were the government. All right, and so that's the story. But Brave Davis and them allegedly went down there to interview the woman. And this is what happened next. A few days later, this is January 13th now, the woman withdraws claim of rape against official. The woman who accused the Bahamas government minister of raping her has withdrawn the allegations, official said. I'm sorry, my phone is on silent, so I see persons who are calling. I'm so sorry, I see your calls. But the phone was on silent. I'm sorry. You can call in while I'm doing this. 803-5995 is the number. So sorry about that. And so she dropped the charges. All right? She dropped the charges. And so it took them, she made a complaint on December 4th. It took them till the end of December to finally question her. And then a few days later, in the beginning of January, they made her sit in front of him, Brave Davis and others allegedly. And then a few days later, she dropped everything. And so when the PLP is in power, they become like a criminal organization. You can't touch them. And so that's Bradley Roberts' situation. All right. Now, there was another situation where a doctor who was a prospective candidate for the Progressive Liberal Party was also accused of indecent assault. The woman said, accused the doctor of fondling her. And he was Dr. Linwood Brown. He was a prospective candidate for the PLP, as you can see here. All right, prospective candidate for the PLP. And so the police were investigating this, and we are told that the police was told to let it go by the government. They were told, they got a call, and they were told, listen, let that one go, eh? All right? And so they let it go. But the woman didn't let it go. She filed for a private prosecution. Many of you don't know that you can do private prosecutions. You have a right as a citizen to get a lawyer and do private prosecution if someone has raped you or done something wrong to you. And so Ramona Farquharson took on that charge and did a private prosecution of this Dr. Linwood Brown, and they got a conviction. He was convicted, and they made him, pay fines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, but they did get a conviction against him. But the PLP initially blocked the whole thing. And so it was let go and it was dropped. But this woman wouldn't let it go, this nurse. She wouldn't let it go. And her lawyer jumped up and continued the prosecution. And you can go and look for the story yourselves. And so I can go on and on with stories like this, Progressive Liberal Party, and how they cover up dirt that their sitting MPs do. We live in a society that is beyond corrupt, and our biggest problem in every area is corruption. And when you have a government that's going to cover up these kinds of things, that is where your problem comes in. This video shows the mentality of the PLP. This is Leslie Miller bragging about how he beat a woman, bragging. He beat her up, he beat her till his hands get tired. And someone said, "Oh, Leslie, we know you're joking." He was in the House of Assembly. And he said, "I'm not joking. I'm serious." Because he wasn't joking. And he said he's serious. Only in the Commonwealth of Narnia would that be allowed. And the female members of parliament were there laughing at the situation. Whoever that young woman is, they were laughing. Watch this.
That's like beating your wife or your girlfriend every time you go home. You just beat her for looking at her. "I love you." Boom, boom, boom. I had a girlfriend at that, but I don't beat. She used to tell me, "I love her no more," because I did. But seriously, I had one like that. I had one. You know, used to tell me. You know that you're joking with that. I'm serious with that. Until I get tired, man, my hands hurt a little bit. Give me a break. I'm telling you the truth. One thing I don't do is lie.
So Leslie Miller not only says that he's not joking, he said one thing he don't do is lie. Listen, I want you to listen, not just to Leslie, to the female members of parliament. Listen.
That's like beating your wife or your girlfriend every time you go home. You just beat her for looking at her. "I love you." Boom, boom, boom. I had a girlfriend at that, but I don't beat. She used to tell me, "I love her no more," because I did. But seriously, I had one like that. I had one. You know, used to tell me. You know that you're joking with that. I'm serious with that. Until I get tired, man, my hands hurt a little bit. Give me a break. I'm telling you the truth. One thing I don't do is lie.
Did you hear them? And so there's this corruption that we must get rid of. All of the problems that we have in our society is corruption. And so the truth about Kirk Cornish and what's happening right now is that he represents the PLP. Not just that he's a member of parliament for them, he represents what the PLP is about. It is about corruption. It is about covering. They act like a mafia. And only the small man will be dealt with under the PLP. If you are a foreigner, or if you are wealthy, or if you are a part of their political cronyism, you're untouchable. That's the truth about the Progressive Liberal Party and what's happening now. So when that woman said that she went to the police and the police started to try to discourage her, "Man, you know who this man is," and they tried to even put something in writing, hoping that she wouldn't read it, that she would just sign it, and she would sign and say she doesn't want any police action. Why would you do that to a human being? Why would you do that? Who does that? They need to expose who the police officer is who did that. Why would you do that to a human being? Why would you try to discourage her? Let our pastor come and talk to her if that's what you want. Let someone who's a counselor come and talk to her if that's what you want. The police job is to take a complaint and then to investigate it. Not to try to intimidate her, as happened with Bradley Roberts Linwood Brown, and has probably happened with Jobette Kobe Davis. Why does this happen to common Bahamians? Because they know y'all ain't gonna do nothing. And so here we have it. People are expecting change in this country when they keep doing the same thing over and over. You expect a government who is lying constantly. We had a Ministry of Foreign Affairs go and internationally send out a press statement that lied on me and others, saying that we breached some cordon at Bahamas, the security cordon, and that is why they had to do what they had to do. What? What? When governments would mostly just stay quiet on this kind of stuff, but when the government puts out a press statement on their website lying on their citizens, we've lost. When justice has gone down to nothing, to where the police can't even question a member of parliament. Look at the United States of America. They have senators who have been arrested and sent to jail. Mayors, governors have been sent to jail. They've impeached the president of the United States. The last president of the United States was impeached twice while president. Others have been impeached. Come on, man. I've received other information about women who talk their experience with Kirk Cornish. I'm not going to go into all of those. It's troubling as a member of parliament. I want to go through his video for a sec, just to show you how they can put a coat suit on anyone, do a nice video with good graphics, and they can make you vote for them. Because guess what? This is going to happen again. Next election, the FNM is going to dress some people up and say, vote for us. We got the dream team. Look at these good candidates we have. Listen, the candidates don't mean nothing when you have a corrupt organization that is there for one purpose, to rape and rob and make themselves rich. Watch how they dress this fella up and listen to his words very carefully.
My name is Kirk Cornish. I am running in the constituency of North Abaco. I intend to serve my people of North Abaco because I am personally involved in the struggles and the need of North Abaco.
He is personally involved in the struggles and the need. That is now an overstatement. Sorry, an understatement.
Present on the ground, I know the suffering, I know the neglect, I know the needs personally. I think it's...
He meant to say that he's causing suffering.
Based on my experience in North Abaco, that every politician should want to have a relationship with the poor people they're serving. You as a member of...
They should want to have a relationship. He took that one too serious.
And their needs. My life of service has brought me to this place in my life where I am now being called to serve my community on a higher level. I am honored. I consider myself privileged. And with the submission and surrendering to God, I pray and hope that I will serve them, that they can be proud of me. And I thank everyone who was involved in all of it.
So he told them, put on a nice suit, do a turn, and smile. And then everyone is going to believe that we should vote for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we need a new thinking and a new mindset, and we only need people that are going to look out for the Bahamian people. You can put lipstick on a pig and it's still a pig. They're going to bring you a bunch of wolves in sheep clothing. They're going to try to discredit the people who are really willing to fight for the Bahamian people. You have to be the one to make a decision this time. Do we want to fight for Bahamians or same old, same old? Okay, phone line is open. Phone line is open. 803-5995, 803-5995. I'll leave it open for you as I continue to talk. 803-5995. It's only one number tonight. Just get that on the screen for you. 803-5995 is the phone number. 803-5995. Sorry, trying to put it up there for you. Yeah, that's the number to call in tonight. 803-5995. 803-5995. So if you want to call in, that's the phone number to call in tonight. So what is it going to be? Are we going to keep voting for these same people who are going to be doing the same things over and over, or is it time for change? Well, the only way we're going to have change is if you make the change happen. All right? If you make the change happen, you got to talk to your family, you got to talk to your friends, and make this happen. Rape is endemic in our society. However, when you are a member of parliament and you represent, you are held to a different standard. When you are a member of parliament, you represent, you're held to a different standard. But what we've been experiencing is the same thing over and over and over. These people come in power, they're untouchable, they make all the money, they destroy us. They can help you have someone ready for by-election Abaco. Yes, we do. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hey, Lincoln, good night. How you doing, man?
I'm awesome. How you doing?
All is well, God is good. Boy, Lincoln, let me tell you something, yeah? Keep up the good work, yeah?
Thank you.
Let me encourage you in a personal way because, listen, the DNA done gone off the scene.
Yes, they're gone.
People say you'll fade out and gone. You still here fighting for people.
We have to.
You understand me? You said the right thing. We have to.
Yeah.
You ever thought about you just gathering up a contingent of just ladies? And when the house go back in session, just go in the house, not go to the house, go in parliament. Ladies, strictly ladies, just protested and asking that clown to resign. Have you ever thought about that? Just strictly all women. Watch how powerful that is, Lincoln. You only call it women. Just women, just women. Whenever the house go meet again, you go there with ladies. No men, just ladies.
Maria Jackson and some women are already having some discussion, so stay tuned.
Oh, beautiful. I was sitting down and thinking, but just strictly ladies go in front. And ladies in this country is very powerful. Yeah. One thing I can say about them, something like that happen, they stick behind one another. So
what confuses me though, and what bothers me is that the police came on the Goodman's Bay and they assaulted male police, women. They assaulted them. There was no word from these women's organizations, none of them, no word from the Christian Council or anyone. Now you see that 2 women were slaughtered recently. You see this situation happening with Kirk Cornish. The Christian Council is saying nothing. No one is saying anything.
When they released his name, Lincoln, because they was trying to figure out who exactly the person was. When did they release his name, or this something you released?
They didn't release his name.
Oh, they didn't release it. They still have a secret.
Social media released his name.
They can talk it on news tomorrow. Lincoln bring it to light, so they got to jump all over it.
Yeah.
They can jump all over it now, brother. But my personal saying to you, my brother, listen, my brother, don't be discouraged. There are so many people just watching you. Election and over. You're supposed to already be faded off of the scene. My brother, there are so many people watching you, not saying nothing and just shaking their head. Stay encouraged, my brother. Good night.
Thank you, man. Right now, the COI is the only thing that stands between Brave Davis and total domination of this Bahamas. The only thing. He has bought out everyone else. He has bought out the media. He has bought out everyone, given jobs to different people to silence them. That is not going to happen with me. And so they are trying different plots to see how they can silence me and get rid of me, discredit me, all of this nonsense. But that isn't going to happen. As long as I have breath in my body, I'm going to speak. And the Bahamian people are going to win this. We are going to win this one. All right? And so we got to sign up and fight. 803-5995 is the number, 803-5995. We have to keep going. We have to sign up for this one country because this is the only country we have. And I keep telling you all that and you're not paying attention. Well, you are, that's why you're here. But there are many people who are not paying attention. I want you to look at what's happening all around you. This is 50 years later, and they're about to go and celebrate 50 years. We got a rally coming up, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. Make sure you're there. Come in your mask if you have to. Come in a full ski mask if you don't want them to see your face. But make sure you're there. We have a rally coming up. All right? And so we're calling on all of you to be there at our rally. All right? So we ain't playing. We serious with this. We ready for them to ring the bell now. All right? And so we're gonna be releasing some things. And it's gonna be good. I can't say anything ahead of time. Make sure you're there. All right. So we got a rally coming up. So come and bring your pom-poms, shake your pom-poms, get ready to blow your horn and do whatever you got to do. But we're going to be there and we're going to address the public. But I want you to know that our country is spiraling in the wrong direction. We have murders gone to bed. We have crime crime beyond belief. The Commissioner of Police bragged about there only being 35 murders and there was 45 last year. That's because many of the young men who have been shot have survived. How many double murders have you had where they say one person died, two persons were shot, one died, or three persons were shot, one died? That means the murders could have been double if those persons hadn't survived. But they don't give you the full facts when they give you information. Murders have gone to bed. More ships are coming here because it's easy and convenient and cheap for them to do so, not because of anything the Bahamas government is doing. More ships are coming here. But people are still not coming off the ship, and there's still nothing for them to come to when they come off the ship. We are losing our biking industry. The people from Europe who had money in the Bahamas, they are sending their money out of the country. Some are sending money from Latin America, but it's not enough. So the government central bank is saying that, listen, we in problems because we're losing our number 2 industry. Well, the truth of the matter is we never owned that industry. Why are you bragging about an industry that we don't own? That's like the slave master bragging about the plantation. Master, this we plantation. Oh, master, we selling more fruits this month. We selling more cotton this month, master. Oh, master, people ain't buying our cotton as much, master. What's it to you? What's it to us? We don't own any banks, any offshore banks in this country, but it's our number 2 industry. Wake up, Bahamas. That is about to change in the new Bahamas. We don't own the mega hotels in the number 1 industry. We don't own the cruise ships in the number 1 industry. Wake up, Bahamas. That is about to change. Pinder, John Pinder, talks about RCI's commitment is positive for the tourism sector. RCI's commitment? Their commitment? To what? Can someone tell these imbeciles in coat suits it's time for us to go into the cruise ship industry. Maybe they'll listen if one of y'all say it. After 50 years of slaving and being servants and making beds and serving drinks, isn't it time for us to own the cruise ships? Instead of giving Crown land, which is our land, to Royal Caribbean, why can't you let Bahamians do that? Why is there a fight with Toby who wants to do the same thing Royal Caribbean is doing? Why? Because he's a Bahamian. 3 years from now, team, don't go with Lincoln. We got all the money. We've been thieving the money all this time, and we're going to give you $50 in a t-shirt. So just go with us so that we keep making members of parliament rich every 5 years. Not one of these fellas we pay in 6 figures to. I mean, what's his name? Chester Cooper. Some people think you're smart. All right, I don't think so, but some people think you're smart. And you couldn't think, it's been 2 years now. You're now talking about giving American Airlines money to help them with advertisement. You're giving the multi-billion-dollar company money to help them with advertisement. Let me repeat that for y'all again, because this is what Chester is about to do with y'all money. We don't have enough for what's going on in our country. Chester Cooper is about what he calls it partnering with them, right? But he says the Bahamas government is going to give money to American Airlines. I don't know. To help them with bringing tourists to the Bahamas. They already have 30% of the arrivals is them. And he is going to give them more money. A $1 billion company, a multi-billion-dollar company that makes more than our entire budget. Y'all think about this. Our entire budget for the whole Bahamas to run our whole entire country, the whole thing, is just over $2 billion. Carnival makes $20 billion. And no one thought, no one, all these fellas in cold suit that impress you all so much because they are so well spoken and the party send them. No one thought, boy, instead of us borrowing these billions of dollars we be borrowing and we can't see where the money going, we need to get one cruise ship and just start. They bragging about Pinder just now. I didn't read the article to you, but he was bragging because he says that Royal Caribbean is going to do, they're going to do a cruise through the Bahamas. They're going to focus on cruising throughout the Bahamas with the second biggest ship in their fleet, or the second biggest ship in the world. They're going to cruise throughout the Bahamas. You'll remember from before election, we've told you that it is our vision to have cruise lines that can cruise to the Bahamas. The cruise ships see the value in that, and so now they are going to cruise throughout the Bahamas, and they are going to make the money. And what are we going to get? Nothing, because they're going to go to their little private islands. They're going to go to their little private islands, And the money is going to not go to the Bahamian people. And he is talking about their commitment to the Bahamas, and it's going to cause 2.5 million more people to come to the Bahamas. Ah, boy. Maybe we like it this way. Look at little Chester. Little Chester waiting his turn to be prime minister and swing whatever Ingram, Christie, and Davis left. Says that they're going tourism and American Airlines is working on marketing partnership. Marketing partnership. Do you all know that the Bahamas gives $8 million a year to Atlantis for advertising? They do the same thing for Bahama. Did you know that? Did you know that? Hmm? 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 Go read the story. I won't read it. It's time for us to pivot. It's time for us to pivot. Nothing they're doing is making sense. Nothing they're doing is making sense. So I showed you these a couple articles because I want you to see that 50 years in, crime is worse. Healthcare is worse. Education is worse. Uh, Infrastructure is worse. Nassau Town, Bay Street, is garbage. Indians, people from another country came and took that over. You mean all these wealthy Bahamians we have, and no incentive was put in place to cause Bahamians to turn Bay Street into something that we could love? No incentive by the government? Bahamians can own shops in the malls, they could own shops on Bay Street. If Bahamians can own shops in the mall, not expensive the rent is in the mall. If Bahamians can own shops in the mall, they can own shops on Bay Street, catering to the tourists. If we have no cruise ships, but the Indians can take it over. Come on, man. Like no one see nothing wrong with the way this country is going. Well, I do and you do. There's some people who say, Lincoln, you've gone quiet. And that's people who are not really on social media. It's your job to talk to your friends and your family about what's going on. They only see what's in the news. All right? And we're not going to be on the news regularly unless it's something negative that they could spin in another direction. All right? So we need you to spread the word. We need you to spread the message. After 50 years, nothing. And so they're plotting now to set up some other third parties so that persons can go and vote for them. And they can kind of split the vote. Let's make sure our family knows what to do and they know that we don't have time to waste. All right? Got a little commercial break for you. Be back in a sec after this commercial break.
Grand Bahama, you don't want some tasty sauce and at the same time get your exercise on? Well, the Coalition of Independent doing it. They're having a sauce out and a walkathon all in one. And they can do that on the 22nd of April, and we can start down there to the Grace Niles Plaza. Here's what you can do. You can come on out at 6:30 a.m. for your registration for the walkathon, which is $5. We can start walking from there at 7 a.m. and we going up to the airport roundabout, and then we coming back to the Grace Niles Plaza. You gonna be back there just in time for your sauce out, which is supposed to start at 8 a.m. You can have your chicken sauce, pig feet sauce, and you can have your turkey sauce. They're serving that with Johnny cake or one roll, and the donation for that is $10. Listen, man, if you want your ticket early, you could call 438-8355. Come on out, man. Support the Coalition of Independent. That's the 22nd of April. They're the people who fighting for you know. 7 a.m. for the walkathon and 8 a.m. for the South South. Man, you don't meet me there. Meet me there. Come out, support the Coalition of Independent.
I'm sorry we were not back up. I'm so sorry we were not back up. We did not realize that we were not back up. So sorry about that. But ladies and gentlemen, just have some announcements for you in addition to what you would have seen just now. Um, I've been making announcements now from that commercial finished. So I'm going to do it again. We are going to be in Angleston tomorrow. We're going to be in Angleston tomorrow, and with the meeting, we're going to be in Angleston tomorrow. On Thursday, we're going to be in Seabreeze at 5:30. We're going to be in Seabreeze. We're going to meet at the Seabreeze Park by the light of Beatrice Avenue. And so if you want to be there, you want to go and walk over with us, we'll be there. We're hitting Seabreeze. And so make sure you are there. And that is on Thursday. On Saturday, we're going to meet at 3 p.m. on Saturday by Pilgrim Baptist Church, by their parking lot. We're going to meet there, and we're going to have a walkabout in the Freetown area. We have had walkabouts all over. We have not stopped since election has started. We have not stopped. We've been walking this entire country. New Providence and a lot of Abaco and Grand Bahama, we've been walking. So we want to encourage you to be there. And so just stay tuned to our social media pages, Bahamian Evolution, Coalition of Independence, so you can get updates on what's going on. Make sure you're part of one of our WhatsApp group, because at some point we're going to have to stop putting our message out here publicly, because the police has a specific team whose job is to watch all of my lives to see what's going on. That's their job. That's what they do, right? So that's what's happening. So in closing, I just want to say this. We had International Women's Day, we had Women's Month, and there was all this hoopla. People gave their little speeches, and it was a big deal. They came out and they marched. But now a member of parliament is accused of abusing a woman, and nothing from any of the PLP women who had all this stuff to say on Women's Day. Nothing. Nothing. Someone says they're in Beantown, they're waiting to see us. We've been doing stuff in Beantown. We've repaired roofs. We've got an old person, elderly person with air conditioning. So we've been doing stuff. We don't brag about everything we do, and you won't hear everything we do. But we've been doing a lot. Good afternoon, you're live.
Good night, Mr. Bing.
Good night.
President Bing, on Sunday, you made a comment. You said the CJ is a part of a law firm, or he has shares in a law firm, the Chief Justice?
No, he doesn't have shares in a law firm, but the Chief Justice, as Mr. Ian Winder, and we're not implying anything by this, but the Chief Justice was the managing partner. And if you look at what I have on there, it says that he was the managing partner in the Bahamian law firm of Davis & Co. So he was the managing partner at Philip Brave Davis's law firm. And Philip Brave Davis has just made him the Chief Justice.
Okay, excellent. That's what I wanted you to say again. And another thing, the former Prime Minister, Oscar Penland, he said if Bahamians aren't prepared to stand up and fight for their country, they don't deserve to have it. I assume we weren't at war. The Bahamas was never at war. I'm trying to figure out, why would he make a statement like that? Would you have an idea?
Well, he knows it was coming. He knows it was coming. He knows how he's been silenced, and he knows that we have to fight for this. But we need to realize what he realized. We got to fight for this, all right?
Okay. Did you think the oligarchs of the past forced him to allow the Haitian invasion to start?
Well, the oligarchs originally made a deal with Lyndon Pinland, and it started with Abaco because they wanted the Haitians to be able to come in to work their farms, particularly their citrus farms, and this is how the mud and pigeon pea was able to grow up. And so Pinland made a deal with Key and others so that this could be allowed. And so it spread. And so when Loftus Roker tried to make some changes, Pillin stopped him. All right. And so he worked together with the UBP faction, those same people that you call the white people, and they allowed this to start happening. And now it's getting out of control. The elites feel that it doesn't affect them because they don't have to live or live around these people. These people just come and work for them and go home. And so they don't feel what the regular persons are feeling. They're not going to be losing their jobs, these people. And so that's where the problem comes in.
Okay. I believe in my heart, President Bain. Clover Duncombe on Friday said the Chinese have a 5,000-year plan. I believe the UBP, United Bain Party, they had a 53-year plan for the Bahamas after majority rule. And if y'all don't win this election when it's called, Mr. Bain, I think we will lose the Bahamas, and there will be a Haitian flag flying in Rawson Square in about 15 years. Thank you, Mr. Bain, and good night, and I look forward to voting for you.
Thank you. Well, it's not if I don't win the election, if we, the Bahamian people, don't win this election, there'll be a Haitian flag very soon and a rainbow flag flying over this country. And so that's what's really going to happen. All right, so we've done an hour and 20 minutes today. I'm going to leave it there. We got a lot to talk about on Sunday, some things we want to release. We were supposed to talk about some stuff with the Director of Labor. I advise the person who's given the information to leave things there for now because of their safety and their job security and what they wanted to reveal. So I gave them some advice that, listen, this isn't just about dropping, stuff on these public servants. We also have to protect our Bahamians in the meantime. And so I'm going to leave that there for now. But we thank God for everyone in every single civil service agency office that has given us information and helping us to fight corruption in this country. I'm going to take this opportunity to speak for the women in this country. What the Progressive Liberal Party has done is a slight to all women in this country by not arresting and questioning and charging, if necessary, the member of parliament that is guilty or not guilty of an offense. Not even questioning. That is a slight to women in this country and everywhere. The problem is weak leadership. No, the problem is corrupt leadership. It is the height of corruption. Philip Brave Davis, the fact that Kirk Cornish has not been questioned by the police, has not been brought by before the courts if necessary, this falls on your lap. You are corrupt. You are corrupt beyond belief. Because you all know how to interfere with everything you all want to interfere in. But all of a sudden, you see nothing. Well, you're the same one who said on Cliff Watson's show that you didn't see any corruption that happened under the PLP. Those are your words. Still your words. You stand by your words. You are corrupt. Every woman should be offended. Every woman. I cry shame on the women's organizations that have not come out and stood up and had a clarion call to force this member of parliament. Bahamians are too soft, man. Bahamians are too soft, and that is why we are losing our country from under us. We're losing it. It's going right before your eyes. What are you going to leave for your children? Are you going to stand up and fight for this? Well, we are in the Coalition of Independence going to continue to educate the Bahamian public, to open your eyes. You have to do your part. Someone says Fred Mitchell and them don't like women. The Progressive Liberal Party doesn't like women. They don't like women. This is clear. The words of Leslie Miller in the House of Assembly, while the female members of Parliament laughed, makes it clear. They don't like women. The fact that Philip Brave Davis would send the police officers or allow the police officers to go out there and abuse women on Goodman's Bay, it is clear they don't like women. Lincoln, when are you going to give the Clary call for mass rally? We have a mass rally coming up very soon. We're going to make the announcement. By Sunday, we should be able to make the announcement of our mass rally, all right? So by Sunday, when I go live, expect something. Expect to hear when we're going to call everyone out and when we're going to say some things I'm saving for the rally, all right? You can see I'm holding back. There's some things I'm saving for the rally. But stay tuned. You're going to be very pleased and very satisfied, all right? But it is going to be the beginning of the end for corruption. It is going to be the beginning of the end for the old Bahamas in this country. It will be the beginning of the end of the old regime. It will be the end of age. It will be the beginning of Judgment Day for corrupt politicians in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I thank all of you for tuning in as you always do. I thank you. There are no solutions coming from this government. We have put forward solutions over and over. We open up ourselves to questions twice a week, every week, so that you can get answers to your questions. But now we are busy forming a machinery. We are building an army. And you're going to begin to see our army at our mass rally. You're going to see the beginning of our army, the new generation, the new government that is going to take this country to the next level. We hope that you're ready. We are serious about this new Bahamas. We are serious about Bahamians benefiting from their natural resources. Whatever that demon called Philip Brave Davis has stolen from us, we are taking it back because he is the enemy. Whatever the enemy has stolen from us, we are taking back. Have fun for the next couple months or couple years that y'all have left. Corrupt politicians. We're taking it back. And wherever you hide it, we're coming for it. If you can't hide stuff from us now, and we ain't in government, imagine when we get in government. So enjoy. But your time is short. The enemy knows his time is short, and the new Bahamas is here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in. We're doing an hour and a half tonight. We appreciate all that you've done. The Deputy Prime Minister, they said he responded, but he absolutely said nothing. I played the video in the beginning. He said nothing, that the police is going to do whatever. I mean, I'll play it for you one more time. I mean, this is shameful, the country that we live in. This is the Deputy Prime Minister.
There is a complaint with the police in relation to some very serious allegations. I'm certain that the police will investigate aggressively, and we believe in the rule of law, and we are confident that due process will prevail and the police will do their jobs.
Okay, Captain Obvious, there's a complaint lodged with the police about a sitting member of Parliament. Thank you, Captain Obvious. We know that. We believe in the rule of law? No, you do not. If you believed in the rule of law, that person would have been questioned and would have been before the courts by now. If you believed in the rule of law, you do not believe in the rule of law. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you tuning in on your Tuesday. I'm going to go and watch the Lakers win this next championship. Oh, Lord, y'all don't hate me for saying that. going to go watch LeBron get his 5th ring. So I'll wait for the response. So I'm going to go and watch LeBron get his 5th ring, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you for tuning in. And in all seriousness, we have a country that we have to save, and it's only going to happen if you make this happen. Not if I make it happen. Not if the COI makes it happen. If we make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to fight with all our might to get this done. We love you. And so if you've ordered your ring, please get in touch with us. I have one gentleman from Miami who ordered a ring. He has a beautiful ring. I should have had it here to show you. His ring is beautiful. It actually has the logo, the COI logo in the front of it. That ring is beautiful. But next week I have one wearing for you by Sunday. That is beautiful. That is. I wonder if I have it here. Yeah, his ring is here. Let me see if this is it. Oh yeah, that's his ring. That is so beautiful. It looks better in person, even better than what you see there. So the rings are $250. The rings are $250. Someone correct me. Lake Spain tomorrow night. Oh man, thank you. So I have the night off. I appreciate that. But the ring is $250. Call the office 804-4264 to get yours. It's beautiful. I have the first version that has COI. It's kind of backwards because of the camera. It has COI on it. This was the first version that we brought out. You have the pinky ring and the other one. And so get yours. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. Talk to your neighbors. Evangelize. Let's make this thing happen. We got to do this. We got to do this together. They're afraid of us, and they're going to continue doing what they're doing. I wanted to say some more about what happened with that young lady and some other complaints I got, but I'm going to leave it right there. So the walkabout, the walkathon and South Side is on Saturday in Grand Bahama. Make sure you're there for that. And in the meantime, I'm going to leave you with some videos that should open your mind and your thinking and let you know that it's really, 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 really time for change.
And so we became very curious about what the Minister of Environment might have been hiding. And so the first thing we wanted to do was to follow the money. And the first thing we had to find out was, who was it that was digging aragonite in the Bahamas all this time? And where was our aragonite going? It's a good question. When aragonite leaves the Bahamas, where does it go and what happens with it? So in our investigations, we found out that persons only paid about $2 a metric ton. A metric ton is about 2,204 pounds. So they paid about $2 for a metric ton of aragonite, of sand. And we wanted to know, where was this sand going? Was this going to fill up beaches in Florida? What were they doing with our sand? What we found will blow your mind. So our investigators took a little trip to the internet, and we found a curious little website, an interesting little company that actually sells aragonite. But they sell an aragonite of the special kind. It's not just any aragonite. This is what they call the high-grade aragonite. This is the good stuff. And not only are they selling it across America and the world, but they're also selling it right on the internet. It was so easy to find what's happening with our aragonite. I wonder why the government couldn't find this out. And so after combing through all of those government files and finding all of these companies, many companies in this aragonite business, some of them seem to be shell companies, but there are so many companies in this business, we came across this little website, this beautiful little website. Look at the beautiful beach on it. Doesn't that look familiar? Well, of course it should. That's a beach in the Bahamas. This website is called Calcium Renewable Biogenic. This is their home page, and they're moving towards a renewable world. And they are talking about what they sell. and that is oolitic aragonite sand. And the first thing they say about aragonite is that it is renewable, it is sustainable, and it is biogenic. Wow! The Minister of Environment must not know about this. They must not have gone to this part of Google to see what is being promoted about our aragonite. Look, it says Calcium is changing the way we look at natural resources and their incorporation into familiar products and industries. Calcium utilizes renewable biogenic calcium carbonate derived from oolitic organic sand originating in the Bahamas. Wow! And so this is where our aragonite has been going. And so they are saying that it is renewable. Not only is it from the Bahamas, it is renewable. And so this is our aragonite. It's called oolitic aragonite. And it says, oolitic aragonite is a renewable and sustainable source resource. Wow. It naturally forms on the banks of the Bahamas during natural precipitation events called whitings. During these events, blooms of cyanobacteria sequester carbon from the atmosphere, and a mineralization process occurs, forming oolitic aragonite. So they're saying that we have lots of aragonite, and not only do we have lots of aragonite, it's renewable. Oolitic aragonite is a versatile renewable source that provides a number of benefits over standard mine ground calcium carbonate. Calcium offers a number of oolitic aragonite-based products ranging from aquarium substrates to play sand. So this is what they're doing with our aragonite. They're using it for many different things. So our Bahamas aragonite is used for aquariums, reptiles, poultry, play sand, agriculture, and plastics. So there's many uses that this company alone uses for our aragonite. This company is making major money from our aragonite. While our government is researching to see what we can do with the aragonite, a quick Google search would have shown them that our aragonite is already being used around the world. Right now, it's being used for raw materials. This is amazing. It says Calcium, creator of Sandy Cal, aragonite sand, and Ocean Cal, these are two of the products, powder, is reinventing the way we think about natural resources. Don't we need to rethink the way we think about natural resources in the Bahamas? And their incorporation into familiar products and industries. From agriculture to plastic, Calcium utilizes renewable biogenetic calcium carbonate derived from oolitic organic sand originating in the Bahamas. And so this website, and as I scrolled this website, I found even more interesting stuff. Like over here, I went to the blog page. And look, they have information about our aragonite. It says oolitic aragonite is a unique type of biogenic calcium carbonate. It naturally forms on the banks of the Bahamas on a sustainable and renewable basis. They keep emphasizing the fact that this is sustainable and renewable despite what the Minister of Environment has been saying. It's like he's trying to hide something. It's like they don't want us to know that there is this amazing natural resource out there that lots of money can be made from, and they don't want the public to know it. Notice what he said at the end of his interview. He said, well, we're not going to become billionaires from it, but we're going to challenge that, right? He says, due to its renewable nature, it is an environmentally responsible alternative. They are saying that there is good aragonite and there's some fake stuff out there. That's what it said at the beginning. It says, don't get caught up buying fake oolitic aragonite. And so they're trying to tell you that the Bahamas stuff is the good stuff. It says, unfortunately, however, there are many substrates out there that are all a bit of smoke and mirrors. They masquerade as oolitic aragonite, but under close inspection, they are either coral sand or just regular calcite sand. Wow, this is amazing. They even give a graph to show you the proper standard of what aragonite should be. And so if you look at this graph, it says, Is it oolic aragonite? Is it sourced from the Bahamas? So if you want to know if it's oolic aragonite, the first question is it sourced from the Bahamas? That's the question. And so if it's from the Bahamas, it's the good stuff. If it's not, then it's the fake stuff. Wow. So if the answer is no, then it's either it is not oolic aragonite or it isn't sourced ethically. No. That also comes from aragonite. Did you know that chickens can actually lay eggs without mating? Chickens can actually lay eggs without mating. They've actually found that when you feed calcium to chickens, that they can actually lay eggs. And this is why the eggs you buy in the store, they cannot hatch. Because they're not actual fertilized eggs. They're just eggs. And so they feed calcium to the chickens, and that's what makes them lay eggs. And so this is important in the agricultural industry. So our aragonite is feeding chickens around the world, and that is how they are making eggs. When you scroll down, you will see aragonite calcium feed. Also play sand. Play sand for people around the world is made from our aragonite. And so lastly, I just wanted to show you before we get to the next step, where they not only say it throughout their website, but they have a whole tab where they talk about the sustainability of mining aragonite in the Bahamas. And so basically they're claiming that this thing is sustainable, and they repeat what they said. All right, minimizing their overall carbon footprint, naturally renewable, and they repeated the process of whitings. But look down here, they said within our 500 square mile harvesting area, roughly 2 million tons of oolitic aragonite is generated each year. 2 million tons just in this 500 square mile space. Now, let me show you how big the area is that they are mining. They are mining a huge area. The entire New Providence is just 147 square miles. The entire New Providence, where we do everything, where we live, where we mine, where all of this land is still there that we haven't even touched yet in the West. The entire New Providence is only 147 square miles. These guys are mining an area that is 500 square miles. That is more than 3 times New Providence. So here's the big question. So this company, like others, reportedly pay about $2 a metric ton for the aragonite. So we want to know, what is the street value of this aragonite? We want to know what happens to this aragonite that our country basically sells for $2 a ton. We want to know up to how much do they get for this on the street. So
I don't know how you did this in 50 years. You look at history. Who does this? Show me anybody else that has done this in 50 years. I'm waiting. Show them to me. This wasn't done by money. Money doesn't produce visions. Visions produce money. You've had leadership over here that were visionaries, great visionaries, and their vision was more about the people than the money, because you can't accomplish this in 50 years without loving your people first, because the people are the ones that's benefiting from this. Look at your health care. Look at your road system. Look at your highway system. Look at your airports. Who does this in 50 years? But who benefits? You're going to care about those people. It's something to be learned about what's been done over here that could be duplicated in the world, because there's people with this much money. You just don't have people with this much love for their people.
A lot of people wonder how Dubai became a very big, famous and rich city.
You see, if you're comparing with Nigeria, listen to this. Nigeria has oil before than Dubai. It's a history. They are more rich than us. They have agriculture, they have mining, they have everything, you name it, they have it. Am I right or wrong? have. When you have a true leadership, which we have nothing, but we have everything because we have the right leadership. That's the only thing you need, a right leader for your country, not corruption. That's what brings your country at the top. You don't need anything. We want water, we don't have agriculture, we don't have mining.
That's quite interesting.
And that's Sheikh Mohammed. Number one, he doesn't know number two, he needs only number one. He says, I don't know, there's no number two in my book. Only number one.
I hear he doesn't ride in a convoy.